There are two remarkable Andalusi ivory caskets that were preserved in the monastery of Santo Domingo de Silos and today kept in the Museo de Burgos. For centuries, these objects were associated with Fernán González, the first Count of Castile. Medieval memory connected them with the legendary victories of the Count and imagined them as trophies taken from Muslim enemies in battle. Two questions follow naturally from this tradition. Could Fernán González actually have captured such objects in war? And if so, why would Muslim commanders have brought luxury works like these into the field in the first place? Part of the story comes from the Poema de Fernán González, composed around 1260. The poem recounts the heroic deeds of the Count, and in stanzas 276 or 280, describes the plundering of Al-Mansur's campaign tent at his frontier base in Medina Celi. The verses list a dazzling array of luxury goods: precious ivory caskets, cups and vessels of gold, silk hangings, rich furnishings, weapons and armor made from gold and silver. It reads, "When Al-Mansur had gone far away, the land of the Christians was settled again. They gathered the goods that God had granted them, and they found such a great wealth that it could not be counted. In the tents they found an immense treasure, many cups and goblets of fine gold. Never had such riches been seen, neither by Christian nor by Moor. It would have sufficed even for Alexander and Porus. They found many chests and bags filled with gold and silver, many tents of silk, swords and coats of mail, many ornaments and much equipment. They found ivory caskets of such noble workmanship that they could not be counted. Most of these were given to San Pedro, where they now rest upon the altar. From all this wealth they took more than 2/3 of the arms they had found, together with all their gains. Whatever they could not carry away, they left behind. But everything they wished to keep, they brought to San Pedro." For a medieval monastery that possessed ivory caskets in its treasury, it was easy to imagine that these objects were the very trophies described in the poem. Yet the chronology immediately raises problems. Fernán González died in 970, while Al-Mansur did not undertake his first campaign until 977. The two men, therefore, never encountered one another. Moreover, one of the Silos caskets, the famous Cuenca Pixis, bears an inscription dated to 1026, more than half a century after Fernán González's death. It's actually a Taifa Pixis. These objects cannot literally have been taken by the Count himself. What the poem preserves, however, is something more revealing than historical accuracy. It reflects a Castilian memory in which luxury objects were understood as signs of power and prestige of Muslim rulers such as Al-Mansur. In that imagined world, capturing such treasures became a way of demonstrating Christian victory over a formidable adversary. This brings us to the second question. Why would such objects have been present in a military camp at all? The answer lies in the political function of luxury goods in the Umayyad world. Andalusi rulers routinely carried precious objects with them on campaign because they served as instruments of authority and patronage. Al-Mansur's campaign tent was not merely a temporary shelter, but a mobile court, a place where he received generals, soldiers, allies, and envoys. The tent itself functioned as a form of soft architecture, recreating the ceremonial environment of the court, even in the field. Within this space, luxury objects could be displayed and, crucially, distributed. Many of them were intended as kila, robes and gifts of honor that rulers bestowed on loyal commanders and allies. In order to reward supporters at the end of campaign, such gifts had to be transported with the army. The campaign tent thus functioned almost like a traveling treasury, or khizana, filled with objects ready to be granted as marks of favor and recognition. We know that Al-Mansur used such strategies in practice. During his campaigns in North Africa, shipments of money, jewels, and luxurious garments were sent from Córdoba, specifically so they could be distributed among Berber leaders and governors who supported Umayyad authority. These objects were therefore both political tools and visual statements of power. From this perspective, the appearance of ivory caskets, silk hangings, and gold vessels, and accounts of battlefield plunder make perfect sense. They were not brought to war by accident. They were part of the machinery of rule. The Silos ivories, then, were probably not captured by Fernán González himself, yet the legend surrounding them reveals how medieval Castile remembered the splendor of its Muslim rivals. In that memory, the capture of precious objects symbolized more than simple loot. It represented the transfer of power, prestige, and legitimacy from one rule to another.